Hey y'all, I'm Krystal and welcome back to My Texas Garden. Today, we're going to talk about herbs you can grow in your fall and winter garden. Now, if you're new around here, welcome. And if you're all about gardening naturally, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to smash the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. Now, when most people think about herbs, they think about these dainty, delicate little plants that at the first sign of cooler weathers, they're done. It's a little cool around here today, definitely soup weather, so I'm out here picking some kaffir lime leaves for chicken noodle soup. Look at that. Look. It's a ghost pepper. Gosh, look how pretty these are. Look how gorgeous those are. I love the color. Now, when most people think about growing herbs in the winter, they typically think about parsley and cilantro. But there are a few other herbs that actually prefer the cooler weather. Now, all summer long, I grow several different varieties of mint. And honestly, throughout the summer, they really struggle. They struggle. They do not like the heat. But as soon as the temperatures start to cool down, they really do come to life and quite frankly thrive in the winter here. Now, all of the herbs we're going to talk about today can tolerate temperatures at about 30 degrees. If it gets colder than 30 degrees Fahrenheit in your area, then you may want to bring those plants in or cover them up. In my area, we don't get below 30 very often, and when we do, it's a real rarity. It does happen, just not a whole lot. So the first herb that you can grow in the winter would be oregano. Oregano really does thrive in the winter, in the cooler temperatures, and it's another one of those plants that really does struggle all summer long. Oregano is one of those herbs that you do want to grow in abundance because not only does it make your food taste good, but it has antibacterial properties. Now, another one of my favorite herbs to grow is rosemary. I love the flavor of rosemary. Rosemary also has some medicinal properties as well. And if you guys want to know more about these herbs and their medicinal properties, let me know in the comments below. And maybe we can do a video on medicinal properties of these different culinary herbs. Like I was saying, rosemary is one of my favorite herbs to use now. It's actually kind of funny when I think about it now. When I bought my very first rosemary plant, it was for my herb garden in our front yard in our suburban home. We weren't allowed to grow any food in our front yard. And when you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it. I had no experience on growing any food whatsoever, but I bought a bunch of different herb plants and I bought some pepper plants. I grew a habanero plant for 4 years. Funny. Anyway, so when I bought this plant, I bought it because they smell so good, but I had no idea how to cook with it, and it was super intimidating for me. So once I learned how to cook with it, it wasn't so intimidating after all. Rosemary, potatoes, and garlic, it's so delicious, you have to try it. Anyway, rosemary is another one of those plants that actually will adapt to the summer and the winter. If you grow it in a pot in the summertime, it may struggle a little bit because it'll want more water in the summertime. But if you put it in the ground and you mulch well in the summertime, you should not have a problem. So this little guy is outgrown his pot, so we're gonna put him in a bigger pot right now. Now again, this is a really good organic potting soil mix that I bought. Just put that aside for a second. We're gonna pop this out by squeezing the plastic pot. Once you kind of get it loosened up, you're just gonna grab the base of the plant closest to the soil right here, and you're gonna gently pull, and that plant should come right out for you. You see? And it's not quite root bound. It's getting there though. Okay? So in our pot, pull out some of this soil. Make kind of a well, you know, like you do for biscuits. And we're gonna put that in there. Okay. Just gonna kind of break up the root ball just a little bit. Not much. Okay. Snug that up in there and start filling it back in. And when I fill this in, I'm going to come in and compact the sides. We don't want any air pockets in there. All done. Water it well. Believe it or not, another really great herb to grow in cooler weather is thyme. Everybody can use more thyme. Now, thyme does really well in our springs here, and in the summer it's a little slacking, but when the temperatures cool off, just like the rest of these herbs we're talking about today, thyme really does take off. And it's time to get this guy into a new pot. Oh, this one's really root bound. You can see down here. So we're just gonna squeeze. And we were able to get those out. Look at that. Really, really badly root bound. Again, come in and just kind of break up the bottom roots here. Okay. This tag does not give me any instructions on, you know, cold tolerance or anything like that, but I do have a recipe back here. Priorities, y'all, priorities. All right, so we're gonna pluck this in here and start filling in. And what's really great is this thyme plant will just come right out of the pot and just start cascading over. Oh, it smells so good. Working with all of these herbs today, oh, it's so nice. So incredibly nice. I just love that. I just love that. This thyme looks beautiful, like if you had a rock garden just growing in between the rocks. Actually, any of these herbs would look beautiful, I think. Actually, just grow herbs. Sage. Sage is another really great herb to grow in cooler weather. It's also quite delicious, and another one of those herbs that I think we don't use enough of. You see it used at Thanksgiving, you know, with the dressing and the turkey, but other than that, it's not really used. I'm going to plant both of these sage plants in this big bucket right here. There's room enough for both of them. And again, we're going to come in and you see it's root bound. So we want to break up the roots. Just like we did with the rosemary. Just a little bit. Maybe about 1/2 inch up. You see, I'm not going very far. Okay, just like that. Make the hole in the soil and plop it in. Cover it up. We don't want to cover up over the original base here. That could actually kill the plant out. We don't want to do that. Make sure there's no air pockets down there. Fill it in nice. We're going to make our second hole here. And again, whoo, look at that. Y'all see that? Look how root bound this one is. And again, just kind of come in and break it up. Now I want to show you guys one more thing on this sage plant. Sage can be pruned just like you would your basil. Check it out. Hopefully you guys can see this right here. This plant's don't always cooperate. All right, you see right here? that down right there. Okay, so we have the main stem. We've got a leaf. Look what's in there. Look what's in there. Do you see that in there? That's another set of leaves over there, and then we have another set of leaves over here. And you're gonna find that all the way up the plant. Let's see. Hopefully you can see this down here against my dirty hands. So you have the stem right here, the main stem. We've got a leaf right here that is yellowing and probably needs to go ahead and come off. It's got some bug damage from the nursery. So we've got main stem, leaf, look at this, in between, basically in the armpit, we've got another leaf and another leaf. So we could top this off at any place and these leaves would then grow out and this plant would bush out. So don't be afraid to use it from the top because it'll force the plant to bush out and you'll have more sage than you know what to do with. Let's go ahead and take off these. Once a leaf is yellow, it's not going to come back from being yellow. So let's go ahead and take those off. So let's just get this guy in the ground, or in the soil, sorry. Put him in there. Fill in. No air pockets. Straight from Mama Li's garden. This is a sandwich bag full of coriander seeds. And if you don't know, the seed form of cilantro is called coriander. So in the supermarket, you can find on the spice aisle coriander seeds. They come in a teeny tiny little jar. It's the same thing as cilantro, but the flavor profile is a little different. But yeah, she had a boomer season last year. So we're gonna get some of this cilantro planted, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do that right now. So these coriander seeds, what I'm going to do is, you see that this tray is nice and big and square. It's about a 3x3 square here. So what I'm gonna do is, in each corner, I am gonna drop a coriander seed, or cilantro seed, however you wanna call it, because it's one of the same. Try not to push the soil around like you saw me just do just a second ago. Come straight in and push everything down. What you're looking for is a good soil to seed connection. There you go. Even though the tray is really, really wet, I will go ahead and hit that again with some water this evening. Now remember, anytime you transplant plants, you want to water in well. You want to make sure the first week or so that it's been transferred, that it gets daily water. And the reason is that it will go into shock otherwise. So to recap, herbs that you can grow in your fall and winter garden here in the Southeast Texas, we have mint, parsley, cilantro, chives, oregano, sage, rosemary, and thyme. That's a huge amount of herbs that you can grow in your fall and winter garden right now. All of these herbs have a cold tolerance to about 30 degrees. Now I'm going to put something out there. When temperatures drop to 30 degrees, I usually take my herbs into the greenhouse or I cover them up. And the reason why is because official temperature readings are taken about 4 foot from ground level. And what do we know about cold? Cold sinks down. So when they're doing a reading up here and they're saying 30 degrees up here, down on the ground, it's going to be a little bit cooler, a few degrees cooler. And even though it won't frost up here at 4 foot, it could very well frost down at ground level. So I always take the extra precaution and bring my herbs in. Now, if you're growing herbs in the ground like rosemary, a lot of people have huge bushes of rosemary. If you are, keep it well mulched and it should improve its cold tolerance. Now, if you're wondering if these herbs are available in nurseries right now, they are. I actually found these at my small town nursery center. They didn't have a huge selection, but they did have some. So check with the nursery near you. I'm sure you can find some of these really great herbs to grow in your fall garden. To see more great gardening videos just like this one, go ahead and click right here and I'll meet y'all over there.